Hello, everyone. I'm Justin Ashby, and this is the Best Company podcast, where we talk to business owners and marketing professionals about how they've built their business, and especially focused on customer service, building up a solid foundation of a good reputation. So today we're very excited to have Alexia Cooper here. She's the CEO of Bel Solar and Electrical Systems. So she's a Nevada-based This is a Nevada-based solar installation company. Bel Solar has an internal focus on female engineers, and obviously we have Alexia here with us as the CEO, and also with those construction workers. So breaking down the traditional hazing in the industry, and we'll talk about that. Alexia and I have already been talking a bit about the differences there, but the company offers paid apprenticeships to any female interested. And Alexia is also in the process of obtaining her C2 electrical contractor license. So fascinating woman here that we're very excited to talk to. She's going to have her own license in Nevada for that. And her first job was sticking tropical smoothie coupon cards under windshield wipers. And I buried the lead here, Alexia. She's also a Forbes 30 under 30, which is a really cool accolade to hang on your wall. It looks like she's got a dog behind her, not the Forbes 30 under 30 award. But really fascinating. So, Alexia, why don't we start with that as a question about your background, the tropical smoothie coupon cards. What a way to get started.
Yeah, it was, especially in the Vegas heat where it can get upwards of 120 here. It was a great, humble beginning. But I really enjoyed, ever since I was little, I always wanted to be the first woman anything. So I dreamed of being the first woman president, the first woman race car driver. And when I found my way into the air conditioning sector, I was inspired by this male-dominated industry that didn't have as much opportunity for females. So I really just jumped in, and that's where I got my start. And from there, I was hired on into Bel Solar and Electrical Systems.
Wow. Yeah, and you've held a couple different positions, and Alexia is now actually owner. So she bought out the previous owner, and she's running this business, and fascinating backstory. So can you claim that you were the first tropical smoothie coupon card placer? First woman, or there's probably been some before you?
Yeah, I mean, for that specific company, it was family owned, so yes, maybe, I would say.
Plenty.
And
yeah,
also,
sure.
The day that my Forbes nomination came out, which was in December of 2020, was the same day that I actually obtained my C2 electrical license.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so you have
yes,
it. Yeah,
so I do have that now, and I was the youngest female to have it in the state, that was a huge honor for me, and receiving both of those honors on the same day was huge.
That's huge. Yeah. Very cool. So what drew you to the solar space? I mean, fascinating. I mean, you've obviously identified some historically male-dominated industries, I think it's safe to say, and you've triumphed in each of them. And now solar, what kind of drew you to this new specialty? Obviously, tons of growth there, but in your own words, what drew you to the solar space?
Really, the new and emerging technology was one of the biggest drivers, and also the opportunity to make a difference in the world. Because in solar, there's such a bigger purpose and a bigger mission. And with our partnership with Give Power, where we actually went to Nepal recently to install a solar system for a hospital, a health clinic, which was life-changing. Just the opportunity to be able to give people, to me, what is a basic need, energy. And being able to allow people to take control of that all over the world has really pushed me in my mission to rewire the world for future generations.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, you look at some underdeveloped parts of the world, and the internet has helped a lot, but still with lack of electricity and that energy, it's tough to reach that next phase. So very cool that you guys are a part of that project. Are you grew up in Nevada? Have you born and raised?
Yes, I was born and raised in Nevada, and I actually think that's a huge part as to why I am who I am, because Las Vegas is the city of big dreams. Anything is possible here. If anybody who hasn't been here, the shows are big, the food is big, everything is big. So for me, I've never seen anything being not possible, and I've always seen anytime a challenge is put in front of me, I just see the quickest solution, and I really think that me being so young in the sector has helped kind of get away from those stereotypical thought processes that a lot of people in construction are in, and renovate how things are done with my team, give others opportunities who might not actually have those opportunities, and just continue to pioneer forward in different ways. I think was really influenced by living here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you've got an Eiffel Tower there on the main street in Nevada. So that's Las Vegas. Well, so talk to us a little bit about Bel Solar. I mean, is it it's Nevada based? Do you guys stick to Nevada? What's the range that you do installations with, and how's the growth of your business going?
Yeah, so right now we are only primarily Nevada. We are in some works to go some neighboring states, but we found that there's a lot of people here with that need, especially in the smaller surrounding cities that we've been able to visit and help. And we've always been in Nevada. So we were established in 2007, and a lot of companies came here and actually hired us to do the install portion for them. Mm-hmm. So what I learned through that process, that was before we were in solar by ourselves, and we were just an electrical contractor. I learned that there was a lot of downfalls to not having the full communication with the customer, not having the full communication with the team. And at the end of the day, the customers really lost out on that. So I didn't really believe in how things were being done. And I just went to my team and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore for everyone else. I want to do this for ourselves so that we can do it right. Are you all ready to commit and do some work? And they were for it. So we all jumped in together, and now we're able to really create that customer experience that we believe everybody deserves.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I've talked to, and as I've, Best Company, we are certainly specializing in solar as there's so much growth there, but we do have more than 200 different industries. And, I'd say I'm a B- on a number of industries. I'm getting to that A range on solar just because it is a focus. But you have dealers, which are essentially, those can be just sales engines. They can be marketing groups. Like they're essentially setting up what will then become an install. And there's a lot of times you have dealers and installers, totally separate groups. They may partner together. You may always have the same installer. You may have a number of installers that are doing. So interesting that you do kind of the end-to-end service. You can obviously control the customer service side of that. And I think there's obviously some financial benefits to kind of being a part of each step. What are some ways, obviously doing the installations, the electrical work early on in Bel Solar's history, how was that transition to, hey, we need to go out and find our own deals potentially too? Was it referral based at first? Walk us through kind of that, how were you acquiring new customers?
Yeah, so primarily referral based was the entire life of Bel before we really got exposed into solar. And from there, then we jumped more into the online world, the door knocking world, the phone world, all of that. And we have some really great partners that are part of the ownership team here that are able to really focus on that section of it. So we've created my main goal with getting into solar was make sure that we have these people who are experts in their respective bubbles, I like to call them, where they are really good at getting those customers and really good at handing them off to the operations team, who's really good at solidifying that journey, who hands it off to the field team, who's really good at creating that top-notch experience. So I have a lot of those key players in place that create this ultimate end journey that I don't believe that one person is specifically over all of it. It's more of like a team effort on how can we get to this common goal together. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So you mentioned door knockers. I mean, is that do you have a sales force that's one of their modes to bring on new opportunities, or what does that look like?
Yes. Yeah. So we have a door knocker team, and they just go canvas areas, and that's how they will bring those leads in. Similar to, we have a phone room too as well, who are constantly out calling from phone lists to get in leads as well. Yeah,
that's great. No, we've seen that solar pest control, number of industries really benefit from that, and you get to meet the people that in the team that will eventually be doing installations on your roof. I think that's great. Alexia, I'd like to explore. You said the word hazing, which opens up a whole discussion, but yeah, in construction, you see some dominating factors there, and yet you've introduced this a different culture, something that certainly stands out. How has that affected? Obviously, you're treating your employees very well, but how has that affected other aspects of the business because of that? How does that really started the chain reaction to other parts of the business?
Right. Well, all of our team members are the first things that our customers see. So regardless at what point of the process they're in, if it's a phone call, if it's at the door, if it's on a roof, our team is ultimately the face of our company. So when I give our team that opportunity to collaborate, to be a part of the process, to feel the value that they have, because they truly are the greatest assets of our company, they then go out and treat the customers the same exact way. So we've seen that they really take that pride and ownership of the customer project, the customer journey. They feel, what I've seen, emotionally attached almost to, hey, this customer hasn't been turned on yet, or this customer, it's their 20th anniversary. We really want to do something nice for them. Is it okay if we send flowers? That type of stuff to me is like, it makes me emotional, because the fact that my team cares so much about these solar customers, well, and electrical customers, any customer who comes through our door, that they want to make that experience, it just goes to speak volumes about them as people, what we do together as a collective. And it's really a beautiful, beautiful journey.
Yeah, that's awesome. How has that helped you kind of solidify your, I mean, obviously you have competitors in Nevada. Nevada's a great state for solar right now. Tons of growth every year. Has that been, just the experience you're offering to your own employees? That's obviously a big differentiator. How else have you differentiated yourself? Bel Solar, Alexia mentioned it's been around for a number of years, starting as an electrical only, and now, hey, let's do end-to-end solar installation. So, walk us through that evolution a little bit and how you've differentiated yourself maybe to other competitors in the state.
So coming from the electrical background, we have a little bit different knowledge than I would say a standard solar company, just because we've been in that electrical space, engineer space for so long. We've done huge projects where we built gas stations, we've built Costco's, we've built from A to Z, name it, we've done it. And taking that expertise and really honing in on that small line item of solar has helped us to simplify the process and also have really licensed and professional electricians on the job as well. So it's not just those people who are experts in solar, but they actually know when we're installing a battery, when we're tying into a main panel upgrade, they know how that will actually affect the house and how we can deepen that relationship further along the line too as well. So we've differentiated ourselves from that, and also being here for so long, since 2007, and being actually based here has been huge for our company, because there's a lot of companies who will come and go, and there's a lot of contractors' board notices that are out against that. Just there's a lot of knowledge going around, and people are getting, in my opinion, more educated about what to look for. So seeing that we're licensed and bonded and we've been here for so long adds a lot of credit to our company, and especially when they start looking up what we stand for, our values, how we treat our team, people are just, why not? Why wouldn't we choose Bel Solar? I would hire me.
Hey, that's the first person you have to convince, the CEO, right? That's the first step. No, that's great. How you guys obviously working with Best Company, looking up, you guys have done a good job of getting those customer experiences documented, kind of turning them into collateral. Is that how big of a strategy, and we'll go into marketing strategy a little bit, but we talk about reputation marketing, ensuring that it's a trusted business. Love that you mentioned. I mean, the reality is solar's still a relatively new space. There's a few nationwide big players, but really you see these awesome companies like yours in a state that's been around a while. It's not this brand new one that's just sending out a sales force during the summer and you're hoping your installation turns out by the end. There's been a lot of horror stories out there. So how have you captured those positive customer experiences to really instill trust in your future customers?
Really, I think a huge part of that is the integrity piece of our company, always following through on what we say we're going to do and making sure that it's what happens. Because being in construction, everyone knows, with any projects, there are going to be some downfalls possibly, or something might happen. Sometimes we just can't control that. So just making sure that we follow through on those promises, to me, has been the greatest form of capturing that customer, because at the end of the day, a good experience is they're going to tell all of their friends and family, especially if it's a bad experience turned good, because that really captured them. And we proved to them, hey, I understand that this happened. I apologize. This is what we're going to do to fix it. And here's our timeline. That way, that clear communication follows through. And then obviously the reviews come. And then if we get some really good ones, we have customer testimonials, all of that good stuff. But it really stems from that integrity piece that we hold really high in our company.
Yeah, I was reading some reviews before getting on the podcast today, and I mean some really great things about the panels that you're choosing to install, the experience. I see a lot of notes around it being a very personal experience. Oftentimes, as soon as you sign the dotted line, the communication falls out. It's really a challenge to kind of keep tabs on the installation and everything. So great to see a number of people mentioning that, working with HOAs. I don't know. You guys have really done an excellent job there. So hats off to you for sure. What do you see, talking to professionals, and it doesn't have to necessarily be specific to solar, but you're running a successful, fairly decent sized, whether you a larger construction category, but really in the solar space and everything, and especially, for colleagues of yours that want to be like you, Alexia. What are some words of advice? What are some thoughts you can give as other groups might start as a 1 to 5, person company, and they want to scale? What are some thoughts that you have for people like that?
I would say number 1 is believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going anywhere. And my second biggest thing that's helped me get the farthest is always asking for forgiveness, not permission. So that way I'm always paving the way regardless of, I always know the direction I'm going, and I'm getting there no matter what. And if there's a couple speed bumps on the way, I'll fix it as we go. But really, there's no way to prepare for something like this. I mean, I went from we've grown in 2020, we did 416% increase in revenue. So that type of growth in a year, well, it was really 8-month period. In 8 months, you can't plan for that. There's no way that I would have been able to take a class or read a book or listen to podcasts. It's really just following my gut and understanding what I do is in the benefit of the customer, is in the benefit of my team, and we're all going to continue to conquer this together rather than how can I make this perfect? Because I mean, we're still not perfect. We're always still working on it. We're always still adjusting. We're always still going after it. But at the end of the day, it's really who we stand for, why we're doing what we're doing, and having that purpose that drives us.
Yeah, that's great. I love the mention of not being perfect. I mean, I think that's where you can you start squinting your eyes, because it seems like promises are too, like being honest with customers, being honest with your employees, and that it's a process and you're getting better and better. I think that's a great way to position your business, and as you grow, I think it'll benefit you for sure. Plans for Bel Solar, is Nevada the place for you? Do you see potentially crossing the border there and expanding the business? I mean, if you feel comfortable sharing, I think people listening are definitely interested in scaling. What are some of your plans there and expectations for yourself?
Yeah, so right now we have plans of expanding into Arizona and New Mexico shortly.
Amazing.
That will be where we start, and then we'll kind of go from there. I'm just really focused on growing smart rather than continuing to push myself and overgrow, because we've seen it happen in our sector and what that can do to people. So I want to make sure I'm serving my team to make sure that I'm setting them up for success in a way that's going to trickle down to all of our customers. I never want our experience to change because we've grown too fast. So focusing on how can we continue to create this and almost duplicate it, but in a way that's still genuine and authentic to our team and customers is what I'm focusing on now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, great. Alexia, thank you so much for joining us, giving us some insights as to, operating a business, focusing on that customer experience, and first the employee. I think whether it's construction, solar, you have this large team of installers. How do you stay connected? How do you offer them a good experience, a positive experiences? And you've really opened the door to for women in a historically very male-dominated field. And I think as well, I noticed, and I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but you are also paying for or just compensating any training or things like that women might need to be able to join the space, and specifically join Bel Solar. So I think that's worth praising and mentioning as well. So I'll mention Bel Solar on bestcompany.com. A number of 5-star reviews. Go check them out. If you are a consumer, as Bel Solar will share this and get this podcast in front of customers. I do think that this is one of the better companies that are listed on bestcompany.com. And for business owners, operators, and marketing professionals listening, clearly it starts with the experience of your of your employees and overall the culture of the business that really will help. So, Alexia, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time and look forward to seeing everything that you accomplish as you continue building your reputation on bestcompany.com.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
Okay, thanks.